Hello and welcome back to Cloveriness. My name is Michelle and today I want to talk more about UKYA. Today I'd really like to talk to you about some of my favourite UKYA series at the moment, and all of the books that I want to talk to you about today are contemporary thriller type series. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first series that I wanted to talk to you about today is Night School by CJ Doherty. I really love this series. I was lucky enough to be invited to a blogger party hosted by Adam in which CJ Doherty was there, and we were able to hear a little bit about her inspirations for starting this series, and it is absolutely wonderful. The main character of the story is Ali Sheridan, and she's been sent off to this boarding school, and once she's there she finds out all of this crazy stuff going on and links to her own family, and it's very, very good. As I'm reading this story, there's always huge surprises that come out of nowhere. Characters that I thought were perfectly safe end up dying. But I really do think that the romance elements of the book are really great, but so is Ali's own character development within herself and finding that strength that she needs in order to face what is coming. And I think that's really great to witness. Every time I read a new book in the series, in fact this is the last book that I've read so far, I'm just so shocked by where CJ Doherty takes this story, how far it's gonna go, and I'm so excited to read more in this series. The new book is Resistance and it's coming out this summer. Now, another series that I love is the Murder Notebook series by Anne Cassidy. These are the second, third, and fourth books in the series. I haven't been able to find my copy of Dead Time. It's actually a finished series now. Dead and Buried is the fourth and final book in the series, and that's published by Bloomsbury in March. It's a really great series about two main characters, Rose and Joshua, who many years ago were living as sort of stepbrother and stepsister, and then all of a sudden her mother and his father go out one evening and they just never come back. They're presumed dead, but Rose and Joshua both live in the hope that they are still alive, and once they meet up again in London several years later and they start doing some investigative work and realize that both of their parents, who were cold case police officers, were involved in something a lot more sinister, and that they possibly left of their own accord in order to protect Rose and Joshua. And it gets really tense actually as Rose and Joshua start to delve into things that are incredibly dangerous. There's a large body count within this series, and I really love it. They're very exciting books with lots of twists and turns, and within each of the four books there is usually a mystery or a death whose crime needs to be solved, and there's also the overall series arc of what has happened to Rose and Joshua's parents, which is really good and exciting. I really love this series. Another one of my favourite series is the Poppy Sinclair series, which starts with Dead Jealous, and the second book has been published in February, Dead Silent. Though the first book is absolutely brilliant. It starts at a pagan festival, and Poppy is a teenager there. She's dragged there kind of against her will in order to attend her mother's hand fasting ceremony, and she meets this girl who ends up later dead in a pool of water. And Poppy is just really curious about, you know, what has gone wrong and how this girl ends up dead, and so she starts poking around, doing some detective work, and she uncovers a whole bunch of other things at this festival, and she does find out the culprit, but again she also starts to uncover some of her own feelings about paganism and her own spiritual beliefs, and also it comes to comes to light her feelings for her best friend Michael, and I love all of those elements of this book. I didn't think it was possible, but I actually loved the second book even more than I loved the first book. This book takes place several months after the events of Dead Jealous, and Poppy and Michael are now in Cambridge visiting. Michael is there for an interview. And Poppy is visiting her father, who is the university chaplain, and as she is there, a dead body is found in the chapel, and all the fingers are now pointing at Poppy's father to be the murderer, and Poppy then has to jump in, clear her father's name, and in the process she learns more about angels, and again she's looking at her own beliefs. She's dealing with, again, her feelings for Michael, and also she just can't help but get involved in this murder investigation. I love Poppy Sinclair. She is one of my favorite ever characters, and this is such a brilliant series. I really recommend that you do pick up both of these books. Another one of my favorite series is When I Was Joe by Karen David. This is actually the third book in the series, I'm going to say. It starts off with When I Was Joe, it follows up with Almost True, and then this book, Another Life. What I love about this series of books is the different themes that are explored. Obviously, knife crime is a big element to all three of the stories, but in the first book, When I Was Joe, there's this great theme of identity, you know, with Joe having a different name and a different personal history, a different look. He's attracting, you know, the attention of girls. He's really cool. He's really starting to question his own identity and trying to really work out who he is as a person, and everything. And it was really, really powerful and moving. And even though Ty as a character does some really stupid things, there's just a sense of real sympathy. Like, I felt very sympathetic to him as a character. There's some really funny moments as well as it being kind of serious and everything. Almost True, again, we're learning more about the secrets that Ty is concealing, and the whole thing is about being honest and true, and it's really, really so very good. And then this third book in the series has been published, and it's from the perspective of Archie, Ty's cousin, who's always had lots of money and wealth and privilege, and it was really fascinating actually to see Archie's delving into everything that happened with Ty and questioning, you know, what happened and why it happened, and you can see it from this different kind of arrogant perspective, and it really opened my eyes a little bit, and that we can see that actually there is more to this story, and it was a really great concluder to Ty's story, and I really, really loved it. Now, the last series book that I wanted to talk to you about is the first book in a new series. The second book is being published later this year by Random House, and that is Silent Saturday by Helen Grant, which is the first book in the Forbidden Spaces series. Now, this is a really, really interesting story for me. It's actually set in Flanders, in Belgium, and the Silent Saturday of the title refers to this Flemish legend about the Saturday between Good Friday and Easter Sunday. In order to check to see if the stories are true, Virla and Chris, the two main characters, go up into a church to actually inspect the bell tower to see if the church bells are still there or not. And while they're there, they witness a very disturbing and awful, horrendous, this awful crime that will stay with them for a long time. Forward many years later, and Virla and Chris connect again over over the fact that Chris is part of this society in which he breaks into abandoned properties for the thrill of it. You know, they both think that they're doing a good thing because they break in and they try to fix something or clean something or leave that space somehow better than how they left it. But as they're doing this, they witness another crime. And it turns out that other members of this society that they both belong to are being targeted. And it's a really, really exciting series, and I'm dying to read the second book in the series, Demons of Ghent. Those are my favourite UKYA series at the moment, with kind of a thrilling aspect to it. Do you have any favourite thriller series at the moment? I'd love to hear it. It's definitely one of my favourite genres to read. I'd love to hear from you, and thank you so much for watching.